Did you come from Des Moines?
No, born in Clarinda, home of Glenn Miller. No, I lived in Clarinda. Jessie Field Shambaugh, who helped start 4-H, was one of my neighbors. And she was very elderly, but I remember I was the little girl that would just go knock on her door and go in her house all the time. So, but anyway, so no, I came here in the middle of 7th grade.
Okay, where did you go to school?
Went to Merrill, then on to Roosevelt, and then Iowa State. Yeah, I started there in magazine journalism. I knew I wanted to write. And I loved English, but I didn't want to teach. And so I went up there in magazine journalism. And at that time, they had WITV, was owned by the university, an ABC affiliate. So I started taking some, like a radio class, which you would read the news in that radio class. I was a horrible disc jockey, but the professor was like, "You read the news really well. Have you thought about doing that?" And I'm like, "Oh, no." And so I interned at WI my junior and senior year. They had a Saturday noon newscast. I can't get away from noon news. But I started there my junior year doing the noon news, and it was, ABC affiliate, so it was broadcast past the campus. Loved the combination of doing interviews, but also showing the video, or at that time film, being able to interview someone. I'd worked on the Iowa State Daily as a copy editor in the newspaper, but just loved the visual element of it and never looked back. It was just a great combination. On the air, I started in 1974 working at WI, so I've been on the air either there or on radio. I was with KCBC Radio in Des Moines right after I graduated for about a year, and then came to Channel 8 in '76, worked here for 3 years, then TV station in San Jose, California contacted me. They were looking for a new reporter anchor. So I got that job. So I was gone for 3 years and then came back in '82. So I've been here, 38 years, but I've been on the air since 1974.
You're watching KCCI 8 News.
Were there other women in journalism at that time, or?
Not very many in the newsroom. I mean, when I was hired at Channel 8 in the old building, I think I'm the first, as far as I know, the first news reporter as a female hired there.
Did you have any, I mean, how was that?
I didn't even think twice about it. I mean, we all were doing the same job, and never really crossed my mind I was accepted, as far as I know. I mean, I carried tripods, I shot film. At that time, we didn't even have, everybody could do both and had to do both. We didn't have photographers. So you would go out with another reporter, I would shoot that reporter's story, and then they would shoot my story. We'd come back, edit the films, we'd edit the films ourselves, and write the stories. So you just had to do everything, and I did it 3 times pregnant too. So I remember carrying the tripod. Dana Carden and I shot a fire down in Indianola, and I was about 8.5 months pregnant, and I was carrying the tripod in the middle of the night, carrying, covering the fires and stuff. So it didn't, luckily, it didn't interfere.
It wasn't small technology at the time either, was it?
No, it wasn't. No, big heavy cameras. I covered school board, covered desegregation way back when, did medical reports for a long time. Got a nice letter from a lady one time in Pella who said, I did a story on prostate cancer. She said, "Thank you. I made my husband go get a checkup, and by gosh, he had it. So thank you very much." Things like that, little things along the way. But I think probably the floods of '93, that whole thing where it affected the community and it affected us as well. We had to deal with it. So many times you cover news, but you're not affected. We covered it and then had to go home and deal with no water. And just the community outpouring and how everybody was so nice to everybody. Everybody was helpful. People, you could just tell, there was just, we're in this together. And then the septuplets, to be able to follow them from birth to high school graduation. And they have been gracious the whole time, letting us come. We only bother them for a couple hours and then let them lead their lives. But the kids, just watching them grow up, and that has been a wonderful, from beginning to end. I mean, how nice, yeah, that I was able to do that and kind of close the chapter on that, and now they'll be on their own weddings. So that kind of thing, I think, more the human stories.
The most watched news at noon in central Iowa. This is Iowa's news leader. This is KCCI 8 News at noon.
Like, people are coming up now saying, we're really going to miss you. We, loved having lunch with you all these years, things like that.
Heartfelt.
And they are. They don't have to say that, but they're very nice about it. Or we watched you when you had your kids. That was wonderful. The outpouring from just viewers everywhere. Every time we had a child, just the cards that they'd send or the well wishes, just out of the blue. That, again, they didn't have to do it, but they feel like we're part of their family.
Relationship.
Yeah, and that's one of the strengths. So many TV stations just rotate people in and out. And I think one of the strengths of Channel 8 has been that we want to be here and we want to stay here. You develop that relationship with the audience and vice versa. They get to know you, they get to trust you. I think my artist series, I love that. I love doing that. 5.5 years I did it and covered more than 200 artists. I think that has probably been the most rewarding, where I did sort of an as live sit-down interview, and these are people, some well-known, some just getting started, others never had any publicity, but to at least give them 4 minutes or so to tell their story, show their works. And I started in 2008 when the recession started, people lost their jobs and then maybe turned to doing something out of their house, out of love and necessity, whether it was woodworking or craft building, arts, and guitars and drawing and painting and singing. I mean, all this stuff. I think that's been the most rewarding, is that people, I'm like, I'm just in awe of people that have that talent. The artists, the drawing, and I have nothing, and so I love to tell their stories. So I think that has been, to me, the most rewarding, and the station let me do it. What's next? I don't know. I don't know. That's what's going to be fun. I haven't really thought too much. I'm too busy doing day-to-day working, and like, oh yeah, now what I do. Well, our son has helped take care of that because they're expecting twins in the fall. So guess what we'll be doing here? We'll be driving the older kids or helping out any way we can. Our 2 daughters are having exciting things in their lives, moving on to different things, so that'll be fun to help them. We'll do some traveling, a lot of bike rides. Just kind of see what comes next. There'll be some other things down the road, and I think now more than ever, we need good, strong journalism programs. We need strong journalists broadcasting. Can't imagine a more important time to get into this industry. And I really hope that there is a good upward tick in enrollment, because I hope people realize that we're needed out there.
Thanks,
and that's
Mollie.
the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mollie.
Rodger, it's been a great honor.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome. I've
we're
enjoyed it.
not going to say goodbye, just say see
Yeah.
ya.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's been fun.
There's no video or anything, so those will be your audio sources.
Okay. Today at noon, the White House released
Now you're talking.
a lift.
You can go ahead and record for the noon tease. Okay. Tone, please. Stand by, Tiffany.
Effect 547.
This is Iowa's news leader. This is KCCI 8 News at noon. With Mollie Cooney and meteorologist Matinka Slater.
Like you, Molly.
Finally today, moves on the
We're gonna get your 4 under.
peppers slipped out of a St. Louis
Take 4 under.
house. The greatest
See about a loose
spurred an
fawn?
hours-long
Loose
chase.
fawn, cover up the
animals
escaping
squatted through neighborhoods and
cows.
interrupted that one.
Fine, obvious, grab up 1, ready,
Thanks for
black.
joining us all this week.
Go, black. Master, it's yours.